What's up, boopers? Welcome to the fourth guide in my Black Desert Online series, and this guide will be all about horsies! Yay! So let's get right into it! Boop! Now, after you've played a bit of Black Desert Online and realized there's no fast travel, you're going to want to get a horse. Ideally pretty early on, as the process to get a really fast one can take a while. So your first step will be to do some level 10 quest in this village, Valea Town, in the Korean version is what it's called, and talk to this NPC right here, and he'll give you a quest if you're playing your first character in your family or account that will give you a donkey token. You can take the token to the stable master and get your first free donkey. And if you somehow manage to screw that up, you can just buy a donkey token from the stable master and exchange it that way. But once you've done that, you should have your donkey, and you can ride it around like Vin Diesel in a Mustang. And that's it for this guide. I'm booping out. Boop. Why can't anything in this game be simple? Boop. Well, now you'll notice this donkey is slower than 3 grandmas tied to a turtle riding a snail, but it's got some portable storage. And the reason you'll ride it at the beginning is to raise your taming skill to level 5, this skill right here if you open your character tab. This taming skill is required to be level 5 in order to use the tool that lets you catch horses. So just suffer through the donkey ride until your taming is 5 and you're ready to go get yourself a horsey. To get horsies, you'll need to buy a lasso from any stable master in the city, or as a quest reward from quite a few quests throughout the world. You should also consider getting lumps of sugar to help you catch horses. Now, these aren't required, but they reduce the chance of the horse kicking you in the face, and no one likes getting kicked in the face. So to get a lump of sugar, just craft it using 10 raw sugar and some cooking water, both purchasable from any innkeeper vendor. Then use heating in your crafting menu and turn it into a lump of sugar. Now I recommend getting multiple sugars and multiple ropes if this is your first time around, as you'll probably screw up the horse catching minigame. Now your next step will be to find a wild horse. They spawn all over the world in certain locations but have long respawn timers, about 2 hours or so. You can try hopping channels if you can't find any, or search different spots. Now here is a map of some of the known horse sightings, and I'll put a link in the description to it below. Once you find a horse, you'll want to use your lasso and hook it onto the horse to start the horse minigame. The minigame consists of hitting spacebar at the right time to land your rope, then walking towards the horse until you arrive at the horse or you see it whinny. If it's whinnying, spam your spacebar and win the whinny battle. And then continue approaching it like you're its unwanted boyfriend that can't take a hint but also hot, so she'll eventually accept you even though you slept with her sister. Once you get close enough, you can hop on its back, but it might kick you in the face, so try feeding it some sugar first before you hop on its back. Note, there's a good chance it'll still just kick you in the face anyway. Also note that killing wild horses will grant you bad karma, so don't do that. We'll get into karma in the PvP video though. Once you get on the horsey, the next step is to just ride it to a stables and hop off beside the stable hand and click to register the horse. Assuming your stables isn't full, he'll say okay and ask you for its name. Name it whatever you want, and bam! You've got yourself a horse. The horse might suck, but that's okay, it's your special horse. Now, while you are riding it back to your stables, it'll move slow, but horses have 4 speeds just like in the real world. Outside of auto running, hitting shift will make you go up 1 speed, and pressing S or your back key will move you down a speed. A nice touch to realism with the horses in Black Desert Online. So now you got a horse that probably sucks. How do you get a better one? Now horses in Black Desert Online are ranked in tiers from 1 to 8. Currently the highest wild horses you'll find is T3, and they'll either be male or female. What you'll want to do is try and catch a T3 male and female horse, but you won't know what they are until you register it at the stables, so this may involve some trial and error. Once you've got a T3 female and male, your next step is to get them both to level 10 so that they are eligible to babies. This can be done passively while running around and questing and adventuring, as your horse gets experience just from you riding it. Or you can also just set waypoints for your horses and run across the world over and over while you alt-tab and watch some porn or the latest episode of Vampire Diaries. Once they're... Am I right, guys? Once they're both level 10, put them both in the same stables, make sure their stamina is full, and take off all their gear. Then register your male horse for mating by pressing this button here. You'll have to put a price, but since you're going to be the one paying it, it doesn't really matter. You're going to get your money back. Once your stallion is registered, click the female and click the mating button here. And then select to mate with your stallion by pressing this button and send them on their way. Note that you can send your mare off with some other man's stallion to skip tiers, but they'll probably charge you extra. Just like in the real world, the pretty ones are expensive. Alternatively, if you have a high tier male horse, you can sell it to other people to make quite a bit of money. After you choose to mate, the horses will need about 2 hours to hook up and make a baby, but realistically it should only take 10 seconds, but whatever. You can pay cash shop money to make them do it instantly, but personally I find that rude. Just let your horses take their time and do their thing. Let's take this waiting time, however, to talk about mating attempts. Each female horse will have 1 mating attempt, each male will have 2, which you can see here when you select your horsey in the stables. You can also see how much time is left on their mating here. After they run out of mating attempts, they cannot be used for any more babies. You can, however, exchange horses that ran out of mating attempts for a new one, but this exchange costs money, and it has a 24-hour cooldown, and you'll lose both your horses in the process. So you're basically playing an RNG game, hoping that when your 2 tier 3s have a baby, you get a tier 4 girl or boy, and when you exchange those 2, you get a tier 4 of the opposite, and then those children can incest their way up the horse tiers. Once the mating is done, retrieve your horse and voila! Hopefully and most likely you upgraded a horse tier, and just repeat the process to keep going up. Your horse may be ugly, but you can change its appearance by using the cash shop stuff as well. Now, you may end up mating tier 3 with tier 4 or other matches. There's a bit of RNG, so that's why I said you'll want to get started with this process early so that you're passively leveling horses and mating them while you're doing other stuff. Another thing with horses is their skills. These are gained at random as they level up. Some skills let them stop instantly, jump constantly, turn fast, and above tier 6, as of the latest Korean patch, they can gain a skill that even allows 2 people to ride 1 horse. Some horses can even kick forward or backward, but these skills need to be leveled or they'll result in you falling off the horse. So that's mating. Now there's 3 things left to go over. There's horse gear, wagon horses, and horse racing. Horse gear is crafting using housing horse armor crafting houses, and you can equip a total of 5 pieces of gear to each horse. The gear helps them if you're raising a combat horse or whatever. It gives them more armor, HP, endurance, speed, etc. You can also give them cash shop costumes as well. These gear pieces can be upgraded using black armor stones or armor black stones up to plus 10, and doing so will improve whatever that piece of gear does. For example, upgrading the horseshoes will make it give more of a speed boost than it already does. If you're not sure how upgrading using armor black stones works though, check out my previous guide video. Secondly, wagon horses. When you craft a wagon to transport goods, by default they are given a wagon horse that you buy from stable hands that you can combine any of your horses with that wagon at the stables to make your horse pull the wagon instead of the stable hand's shitty default horse. Hakurai, why use wagons? What the fuck, dude, wagons? We'll be going over wagons and why to use them in the next video, so for now let's go over horse racing. Horse races are events that happen on a schedule and can be joined from anywhere in the Black Desert world. However, currently in Korean Black Desert, you can only join a horse race if you are in the first channel. Now, you may be scared to register if your horse sucks, but on the contrary, if all that horse breeding stuff sounds too annoying for you, horse racing may be your ticket to getting a T8 horse by only having 1 horse ever caught. Horse races are locked to horse tiers. meaning if you only have a T1 horse and you find a T1 horse race, you'll only go up against other T1 horses. Participating in races can be done by clicking the register horse button during the sign up time. You can check the sign up time, the next race, and what tier it's for, or how many people have registered for the race at any time by just pressing the button underneath your horse icon after you got your first horse and are in channel 1. Once the registration starts, you'll have 5 minutes to be on the back of a horse of the correct tier for the race. And then hit this button here to register. The other button will unregister you. After the 5-minute registration ends, you'll be teleported to a race, at which point you'll be given waypoints. Now your goal here is to basically get to the next waypoint using any path possible. If you follow the auto pathing, you'll probably lose the race, so you'll have to do some navigating yourself. If you level your low tier horse high and give it plus 10 gear, as well as wear some craftable costumes that give you riding bonuses, you stand a pretty good chance of placing high. Unlike my horse, who sucks ass and has no gear and gets smoked by these Korean dudes riding Hidalgos and Shadowfaxes and shit. Placing high in races will award you with tokens. First place netting about 5. Once you collect a ton of tokens, you can trade them for Blackstones, horse gear, or even buy T6 or T8 horses. Just take all those hard-earned racing tokens to this cattle ranch on the east side of the world here. There may be other places to turn in the tokens, but I haven't found them yet. And yeah, that's a way to skip all that breeding stuff if you're a huge horse cockblock and don't want to let your stallions get their Netflix and chill on. So I recommend using races to buy high horse tiers quickly when servers first launch in NA or EU instead of breeding. Or join the races that happen late at night for Russia, Korea, and Japan servers so you can get into a race with noobs and pwn them with your pony and get lots of tokens fast. But that's about it. That's all you need to know about Barbie's Horse Ranch. My Little Pony Maker. Black Desert Online. Next up, we'll jump into trading and commerce and a bit of crafting and how to make money. But until then, I am booping out. Boop.